So good day all and welcome to the South African lawn. Yeah, okay, so this day in the yard started a couple of hours ago. And I have to be honest that Jomo did most of the hard work. Jomo is the guy working for me on Saturdays, and he's allowed to do anything here except touch the lawn. So I'm going to show you what we were up to this morning, and then we'll talk about the lekker things that we did today. Ja, nee, okay, lekker. So it was with great sadness this morning that I had to dig out some of my Kentucky bluegrass just as it's moving into a peaking season right here. I'll show you the blocks are. So it's obviously a lot easier with a sod cutter, but when you're doing small pieces like this is obviously the way to do it with a spade. And when I'm building a step up there, so I've got a more level lawn. So if you look like kind of from this angle, you can see that there's quite a drastic slope in there. So I'm going to try and get it level with that wall right there. Okay, so you get what I'm saying? So we're going to build another step up right here, so it's level with that wall, so it's going to look a lot more uniform. I don't know, it doesn't ever show up so lacquer on camera, but it's quite steep, this yard of mine, and I'm trying to get it in level so it's a little bit easier to walk on. But when you're taking out your grass, that's the point that I want to get to, doing something like this, you know, improvements. Try and take it out as neat as possible, because it'll make the recovering process a lot more seamless. So I did a sprinkler replacement there just before the summer, and I did it quite neat, and the recovering was literally after a week I could hardly even see the seams anymore. And when you puzzle it back together, that's also you've got to spend some time there, you know, get the seams matching up lacquer again. However, this time was a little bit more difficult, because it seems to me that this warm summer, especially that area there where it gets walked on a lot, gets compacted very quickly. So what I do is I end up hand watering it in between irrigation cycles to keep it moisturized. And that has shrunk my root system to quite an extent that I can now tell you that the roots are not far below this like 5 centimeter level. Way smaller root system than we had before the summer, but that'll obviously now increase through the winter time, especially this Kentucky bluegrass of mine. But all in all, I think it's looking like I've sprayed out oxalis plenty there. I promise you, this herbicide flippin' nails this oxalis of mine. And on the kikuyu, it kind of stunts the kikuyu, but the bluegrass just handles the herbicide a lot easier than the kikuyu. All in all, the lawn is looking lacquer, and I think this is going to be the step building, this trappies that I'm building here is going to be a good improvement. My guy there's going. I sound like it's Jomo. It's not me, guys. It's Jomo doing all the good stuff here. So Marley. Yeah, nobody's got stage fright. Goodness. Okay, in any case, guys, just have a look at that. Okay. So I now even have a bit of a bigger problem. And that problem is that the steps are even a little bit higher now. So I'll struggle even a little bit more to get my quite heavy lawnmower up onto the lawn right here. That's a fact. Okay, so right now, we are going to chop this part of lawn up. We're going to chop it up, and the reason for that being is, let me go this side. As you're looking up the stairs here, excuse looking a little bit messy right here, I want this part of lawn to be dead set level, because a lot of the compaction issues, I'll still have compaction issues because people are walking up the stairs here, but a lot of the compaction issues was people are literally climbing onto the lawn there, which I didn't like. I just think it's when the lawn is, okay, it's not well edged now, but the same level all through here, all through there, it's going to look super, or at least a little bit better. So as you look over this edge here, is quite a height difference. So I want to basically get the level with this. So basically I want to draw a line right there in the lawn where you see it on the edge of the wall there. Chop it up, raise this bit up, and make it level with my latest addition to my staircase here. Okay, so thank goodness for the borehole, because I tell you what, water is no longer a thing that we struggle with here. Okay, so the bore only gives about 5,000–6,000 liters per day, which is more than enough for this size yard. So it's not a aquivar down there, whatever. But I tell you what, just check my wife watering again without any without any shame. She just goois it with a lot of water. She just brought me a cappuccino as well. Lekker.
Take care of all my plants.
You need to do what?
Take care of all my plants.
She says she needs to take care of all her plants. She knows nothing. Okay, so before we just start gooiing spades in there and doing all this stuff there, we need to plan. Guys, planning is everything. And planning is something that I don't know a lot about. I must be honest with you. I don't like to plan. I don't know how to plan. My whole life is just doing. And so yeah, but the next step is quite important. Okay guys, so this is the important thing right here. A notepad, notabook. And you might say, Merrick, well, you don't even do planning. Why is a notepad of any importance to your project? Okay, so basically what you do is you leave this oakie right next to your project right here. Because we don't know what we are doing right here. At any given moment, any of my neighbors, whether it be there, whether it be there, whether it be there, could be peeking over the wall. And at that stage, you don't want to be caught off guard, okay? So then you want to try and grab your notepad right here, even though there's nothing written there, except whatever quote right there. And you want to say things like, no, we're just going to do an increase in elevation there on the lawn. We've built this wall, a level wall there, so that we can improve the infiltration and also the drainage, which will also increase my root density, and then we should be good to go, right? So things like that, so that you don't get caught off guard and look stupid right here, because we don't actually know what we're doing. You get what I'm saying? So that's basically just the bluff. It's just the bluff. The notepad you just leave there. Okay, so now we're actually going to start the work here, and as you would have seen, I've already cut a piece off to make space for this extra set of steps here on my staircase. But what you really want to do is kind of actually really work carefully and take your grass out in manageable size blocks. If you don't have a sod cutter, which none of you have, do it in manageable size blocks, whether it be like 30 centimeter blocks or 40 centimeter blocks, which when you pick them up, they don't just fall apart. It'll also make your process of having a whole block to replace later a little bit easier. So the whole idea is to maybe roughly, I'm just speaking in general terms here, maybe take this, it's about 2 square meters, a meter up and about 2 meters in length of grass out, so that we can add some soil underneath that layer and then put the lawn back so it's level with our steps there. Okay. Okay, so what I have here is a handle-free saving steel, handle-free, like sharp-edged, fairly flat-edged spade here, and this just makes the cutting or the lining of this cut of mine so much easier. Harde werk. Okay. I tell you, it is noticeable how much firmer the soil gets the closer I get to the middle part of these stairs, where most of the steps or the footsteps are. It is so compacted right here. I literally struggle to get the spade in here, and it's not dry. Soil is not dry, I promise you. It is actually well hydrated. I mean, this is probably a chunk of about 50-60 mils below the soil. It's like proper hydrated. Okay, so now I've got the choice to make whether I cut this in 3 or 2. I think I'm just going to go for 2. I think these size blocks, these are probably about 30 by 40, will be manageable without all breaking them apart. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so basically the process right here is put the spade wherever you want to cut it and then step down firmly onto it. So a lot of the times what happens is when you pull it up, it will pull actually some of the soil out. If you see that it is pulling the grass up, just put your feet next to the side and pull the spade up like that. It'll keep the grass down. See how much softer it gets here. Really just see how much easier it goes in here. Check there. What a dream. A lekker piece of grass here. I tell you what, let's check here. Yep, not a ton of roots sticking out the bottom here, guys. This is probably about 70 or 80 mils deep. And I tell you, there is some, but not a lot of, not major root systems falling out the bottom here. These chunks seem just perfect. They stay intact. I think just good enough. Ooh, arty. This is gold, guys. Oh shit, I've chopped him in half. So sorry. Look away, sensitive viewers. Man, I'm sweaty. And that's hard work. Okay, so I decided to take out another round piece there just because it was a little bit low. So basically what I do is I come onto the level of my lawn and I want to dig out to just above that step, that new step level, because from there on I really want to like kind of even it out towards the steps. I don't want to just go poof and make like an edge in the lawn. So that's why I've decided to dig out a little bit higher up, so that I can smooth it out towards the steps right here. Man, am I tired. I'm going to take these gumboots off. Valleys would be the thing, you know. Valleys is really a deurkav here. Dans kerk en werk, dans kerk and work, church and work, whatever. But the gumboots will do, you know. You can wear them somewhere like I do without any socks on, because it will give you blisters regardless of whether you have socks on or not. And yeah, I think it's looking rather lacquer. We're starting to lose daylight here. So let's get to the next steps. Well, I'm still standing. I'm going to fall over right now. Okay, so what we now want to do is we want to bring in 1, 2, or 3, I'm guessing now, wheelbarrows of soil and work it in here in order for me to be able to lift the level of my lawn. Okay, so here comes the rebuild, and here comes the, I want to say, the more time-consuming part. Okay, not that this didn't take a lot of time, but you really want to spend your time here to get this as level as possible, so that this project, as I said before, just recovers more seamlessly. And you don't want to leave cavities underneath your grass here, because that'll settle down and that'll leave leveling in the future. So you really want to take your time here to compact everything down, build your puzzle back together, so that within a week's time you would really say, my word, did this recover really that fast? Yeah, okay. Okay guys, so it is basically like pitch black. So I don't think I'll be recording anymore. I might be going with this for another 10 minutes or so, but I'll see how far I get. Otherwise we'll catch up tomorrow. Yeah, okay, Owen. So the next day, I'm going to be honest with you, when I turned off the camera yesterday, I decided, you know what, let me just go on and see how far I get. And then, you know when you fall into that rhythm type thing? Have a look there. That rhythm when you feel, oh, everything is just going faster and so on. And then you wake up the next morning and it's all a disaster. I fell into that rhythm yesterday evening in the dark, you know, obviously couldn't see. I literally up to the point that you saw, that line that I'm pointing out with my finger around there, that's all looking still lacquer and looked lacquer this morning. But the rest that I did in the dark, in a rush, that turned out to be a bit of a disaster. I could hardly see any leaf blades sticking out this morning. It was flipping mud or soil caked everywhere. So I spent a lot of water now just breaking those clumps down, watering them into the gaps there. And also I figured that part there at the bottom, the lower part that I did in the dark, is not nearly as compact as the top part. So when I walk there, it like squishes in a little bit, so not ideal at all. But I reckon with 2 or 3 top dressings, I should be able to get that level and sorted out. I'm not going to pull it up now and put more soil in or whatever. It was quite hard work. Probably worked another half an hour to an hour last night. So yeah, it is what it is. The rest of the leveling I'll sort out with top dressing, not by pulling up my grass again. So that's like, I hope you learned something there. A couple of tips. If you're doing that leveling, it's always easier beforehand. Before you put the sod down or seed down or whatever, do as much leveling as possible beforehand. It just takes a flippin' tenth of the time and the end results are so much better. So yeah, guys, I think that's it. I'm going to probably fertilize that area with 232 to help the roots grow. I must say it's a lot easier in the beginning of the season when the roots are so much deeper. It just holds the soil so much, it keeps the soil together. So when you pull up this sod, it just falls apart, which makes it so much more difficult. You really have to puzzle pieces in and they're falling apart and it's not lacquer. There's a storm coming in here. I don't know if you can hear that. But guys, I think that's all there is to it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the continued support. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you learned something, smash that like button. Be sure to leave me some comments, discuss the things on the videos. You're more than welcome. Otherwise, shoot me a DM on Instagram and I'll try and answer some questions or just chat or whatever. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Nakamadipa and blokkies. Hey? Ek bou op. Nee. Yeah, so that's my wife saying my lawn will definitely die. Maybe she's right.